Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our album review for Buju Banton's Upside Down 2020, the full album. We did the first 10 tracks over on part one, over here on the Classic Quest podcast, the show where we break down the classic albums like Buju Banton's Upside Down 2020, track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every single song. In this part, we'll go through the next 10 songs on his project because, Buju comes back. He comes in hard, gives us a full-length album.
Well, it's not that he, I guess, he comes back from, being, in jail.
That's coming back?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought you meant, coming back on, the second part, and I was
he just came back in the world and dropped
true.
a full, proper-length project, full album. I believe, he went in with this one, showcased a lot of versatility so far on the first half of the album. A truly impressive array of stuff that is absolutely outside of the scope of things that I am normally going to listen to in my life. So Mr. Jonathan Barnes, our patron, requested this episode.
That's
for those
right.
of you who catch this, we recommend watching part one, where all the stuff we already talked about is discussed. And on that note, my name is Holden Stephan Roy.
I am your lady friend Bonnie.
And she's a good time girl. How do you feel about good time girl?
Well, it definitely sounds very old school, 1950s, 60s kind of doo-woppy a little bit. It's in that sense. And so it's again a very different style that we're seeing. He as interesting as his or not as interesting as his music is, but I don't know. Every song's unique. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. So anyways, he was hurt by this good time girl. And when the good times ended, she, left. She bounced and she found another. And, he needed help and she was nowhere to be found. And it's a cute song about a shitty situation where he kind of got screwed over by a girl. And, that's it. And it's pretty creative. It's kind of cool. It's this reggae kind of guy singing this doo-woppy song. It's just cool to envision him hanging out with these girls doing the background and poodle skirts or whatever. So it's creative. I gave it a 4.3 on 5.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the fact that it again plays with almost the opposites of emotion. So this song's almost celebratory, right? As we've established in his mind state, he's looking back from a perspective where maybe this lady, and it might all be again, I think it's a lot of different elements. These love songs are exploring different facets of the same girl. I'd call this a love song, just maybe not the happiest one, but I mean, the subject is the love of this girl that turned out to suck. Just not a high quality love, right?
Yep.
She was a fair weather friend is another way to put it.
Yeah, true.
But I like the good time girl, and I like the expression, and it's just he just kind of sings it so almost merrily, where if you were not listening to the words of
the time girl,
and you're and you're yeah, it's happy times. But then you realize what he's saying, and I think he's just, it's again, it makes me really appreciate the complexities of life, right? And I think Buju Banton is able to write in such a way where he captures the fact that, there's this happy and joy, the feeling of being with the good time girl during the good times almost is what this song is eliciting, while having the self-awareness and realization of what happened and, moving along with the story and accepting it, but almost loving the fact that you learned the lesson that you had to or something. It's just so unlike the music I'm accustomed to listening to as far as the wisdom taken from it. It's definitely not American. I'll give you that. So I freaking appreciate the energy in it. I mean, lyrically, this one didn't give us a whole lot to talk about, in my opinion. Not in the sense that it was hard to understand, but it was just
But I appreciate that because some of his, sometimes it is hard to understand what he's saying.
I guess he was a good time girl. Good times are over, so you left my world. Now I'm standing all alone. No one to call my own. Oh. Panties dropped again, but this time because Buju's on the market. That's what I'm feeling is happening here. I'm this whole series of songs, I could see how, like, if I were a single dude, maybe there's like opportunities to use some of this music to, like, attract the ladies. But in general, I wouldn't listen to the rock side of this, like the doo-wops. I'm not really listening to it in general. It's like music I appreciate. Like when you get some fancy, strange food that you don't necessarily like or dislike, but you have like I ate goat brain one time. Why? It's an interesting experience. It was delicious.
I think I've had my fair share of animals, different types of random animals,
like,
kangaroo,
would I
alligator.
go to my way to like order goat brain? No.
No.
But let's say I'm at a place and goat brain is presented to me, kind of like how this album showed up in my life. I think I really like it. This is a good exotic treat. And I say exotic because it just doesn't sound like here. It definitely feels like, again, I'm closing my eyes. I'm in Jamaica a little bit. I'm not trapped up in Montreal. I don't know if we're allowed to go to Jamaica. I found out we're allowed to go places in the world, just not the States. So,
Barbados really wants us.
do they? Are we
Yeah.
getting ads?
No, they've put out they've targeted specifically, I think, Quebecers or Montrealers, and they're going to be giving out 1-year visas during like the pandemic for people to go and do whatever there.
Interesting.
So
Anyway.
you could go chill for a year in Barbados or Bahamas, or I don't know, one of the B ones. I think it was Barbados.
But yeah, fair enough. I mean, like when I take the second verse, friends say, man, if she really love you, she would stay. But when I take that trust, the thing girls play, when they're no longer in love, well, I never thought you would be the one, to turn your back when it. And I'm like, this honestly feels like a high school kid could have written it for the level of complexity.
Yeah.
But the way his voice works to deliver it, I kind of like that he stripped the topic down like that. Like, and I don't mean it like it's meant to be bad. The specific choice of words he used and the sequence of ideas comes off extremely mature and all the other shit I said. But at like a really nuanced level, it's like he made sure an 8-year-old could get the fact that, like, you don't want a good time girl.
Mm-mm.
So a bunch of young kids are going to hear this and be like, we don't want good time girls.
Well, I don't know how many young kids are going to be hearing this. That would be interesting to find out.
I don't know. I feel like this all things considered, a lot of this album is pretty like child friendly. Very few of the songs have swearing. I mean, this is just honestly a song I could just be throwing on. It would be on our radio, no problem here. It would pass every censor. There's nothing about this that, in my opinion, would make it not child friendly. Like if I had a kid friendly event, I would curate a track like this, because why the fuck not? People would be dancing, it's upbeat, da-da-da, like there's nothing in this track that's like, oh, she fucked a guy, like it's none of that. It's, oh, I gave you my heart, and you smashed my heart. That's 90% of our pop music, right? Like, it's in the vein of that, but
true.
Written in a sincerely realistic way. I like that. Anyway, I don't have a lot more to say about this track. To me, it's a 4.25. It's another well-made song I'm not necessarily highly interested in, but it still showcases... It makes me more interested in Buju, but maybe not interested in all of his love songs. But at least the man does it well.
And he's versatile.
Anyway, I suppose y'all can call me whatever you want. So, I sort of know who Stefflon Don is, as in this is not the first time I've seen that name, so I can get the idea she's an established artist. And this feels like a really amazing duet. This feels like the kind of song where if I'm at the club and I'm dancing and, somebody's winding up on me or whatever, and it feels like the whole vibe of this track is totally A+. But it's such a mood specific. I want to call it like a club song for what it is.
Yeah.
It's so mood specific. Like without having a girl in the close proximity of being all, or like that's where my brain goes. And it does it eloquently, right? Like I bet you start fantasize, you won't hear me, call me, just the way she does it, or have the body way look like a showroom. You say, I'm like, I don't know how to fucking say it all right, but like you get the sense that like you can have me when you want, I look good, this, the things. And then he comes in and kind of has his really gruff verse, his deep voice, and then she comes through and really just owns most of this track, and it's really great. All things considered, I'm gonna have to say I don't think any of these bars or lyrics are coming off like the fucking most nuanced, greatest. It seems so very typical of what you would expect in a song like this. I don't even necessarily speak the nuance of the language, but I'm gonna guess that nothing here is like really like trying that hard to be distinct. It's capturing the vibe perfectly, and it really does it. Like if you're a little tipsy and you're up in that vibe, it's that kind of song. And I think if I had some alcohol in me, which I do not, I'd be really loving this song a lot more. And I think it really is made for that rummed up party vibe where you're like, in that moment. And I think there's a lot of times where music has specific circumstances where I think
where
it
it
performs
excels.
better. Anyway, otherwise, if this shit just came on 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna skip this because, like, I'm just whatever. It's fine. Like, and I don't mean any disrespect to this song. I gave it, I think I gave it another 4.25. It's a fine love song. They sound beautiful together. All the things about these songs that are really great. I still don't have interest in it, and I think that's but the beat's nice. It's smooth. It makes me feel like I can dance. I can't, but it makes me feel like I can. And I think that's truly the mark of excellent production in a dance beat, is when it gets those people out there pretending like they can move their hips right.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, like this one, it just sounds like a radio hit. Or something, like that you would hear on like, the general music station that plays like the newest hits or whatever. So, this one is like a little bit more about like sex and like, kind of being like intimate like that. And, basically it's, call me whenever you want to touch me, basically. And like, it's slower, it's kind of more sexy, like you were saying. It's good for like the club, for getting turned on. And it's a little like Rihanna-y in like that sense. And like she has a nice voice and she sounds great, and like the production is great, and like the overall like sound of it is pretty good. And it's very danceable. I like that too. But for me it just feels like, okay, all right, so for this one, we're going to make, like, a dance song that's, like, good for the radio, but could be played at the clubs. And, it just seems like almost, like, there's too much variety, almost a little bit, like, in that sense.
It's entirely possible people might want to lose their virginity to this song type of shit.
I mean, that's fair, too. And it is only 3 minutes and 50 seconds, so you can do that. I gave it a 4.3 on 5. So,
3 minutes and 48 seconds is pretty good for some Moonlight Love.
Yeah.
Thematically, I don't think I have more interest. But sonically, I have a lot more interest. That like drum pattern has this crazy rhythmic increase where it just feels more something different. Like it's grabbing from another influence. I don't know what it is exactly, but it makes me like it just is. It's such a different vibe. It almost feels like Middle Eastern or something, or like kind of driving from what I know of like the traditional Jewish music in terms of fucking the bass sounds that it's fucking pulling from.
Yeah.
And then it has like the drums, which kind of come off more rhythmic and fucking fresh. And then he's just singing this other fucking love song thing, craziest things sometimes happen in life. Yet as strange as it seems, it gives you a reason to survive. And I appreciate that. Just to having the little moments that come through that give you a reason. Like in my case, every time a fucking rapper or somebody's retweeted me or responded or said, I watched your review, it was real cool. And I'm like, that's fresh. It's true though. Have I told you what you mean to my life, like love on a stormy night or finding the one that's right? I'm like, man, Buju, you definitely just get girls. Like, I get it. You probably are like Pharrell. You can just walk up to girls and know that they're yours because you're fucking just saying all these gangster ass fucking bars. And when I say gangster here, I mean like effective ass fucking macking game. It just sounds the right things to say. Truly, I must reveal will not hide away I feel. When things get deeper than it seems, you don't always say what you mean. Pinch myself wondering if I'm in a dream. You was here and I was near, there was nothing in between. Like, they just get like jaded and twisted again. Like, everything looked good, but maybe it's not good. Maybe it's complicated. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm missing it because of the language.
Okay.
Something spark it, whatever was sold, I bought it. I'm not interested in temporary love. Oh, I'm suspicious of motive, but you have earned my trust, yeah. So I'm getting the feeling he doesn't want to fuck groupies. He wants that real shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moonlight Love, shine for me tonight. My sunshine girl, run, come, hold me tight. I'll have you do what you do, and I'll just do what I like. Haha, all night. I guess he's gonna fuck this person.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like he'll do it, but he wants something more, or he goes into it with like the best intentions, and it turns out all these ladies are just like up and like there, and what can Buju do? You know, like,
there he is.
Anyway, I don't know what to take from this. It just feels like another fun, frolicky, girls aren't simple song, which is fair.
Yeah.
I definitely can understand it. If everywhere he goes, people want to bang him because he's Buju, that's probably like complicated.
You know,
like I know it sounds like a good problem to have when not everyone wants to fuck you.
But like, you know, if you're with like your wife, or like, you're looking for like real true love, it may not be the best
or like
to find it a groupie.
You got out of jail and you want to have some companionship, and at first you get all the fun. But then you realize that you want somebody to die with, and finding somebody to die with is just not the same as finding somebody to have some moonlight fun love with.
It's true.
I don't know where I'm going with this. I give it a 4.35. Like, I feel like it's more fun to listen to, but still, man, I'm okay. The subject matter picks up once we get past the love songs, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, some chick has, earned his trust or something, right? Like, that's pretty much what it is. And I like that it's a little bit more like ska-y. I apparently like ska music. So it kind of like has that feeling to it. Like the lyrics that you were reading, like, I'll have you do what you do, and I'll do just what I like, haha, all night. I'll have you groove the way I groove, and I'll groove the way I like all night. So, I don't know. And he sounds a little bit controlling, but I suppose that's kind of like what it is, like that he's trying to be like a little bit more like domineering. And I don't know, I agree, like there's not really like any like great lyrics on this one. Like, it's fine. I just didn't think anything was like stand out. I like the trumpet. Like, I like that whole feeling. It makes me think of the Cat Empire, if anybody knows them. I like that band, I used to, I guess. I haven't listened to them too much, 4 on 5 for me. I mean, it's all
right, fair enough. The next one is called Cheated. Just assume Anne-Marie is either the specific person or representing the specific person.
Yeah.
Of whom basically
cheated on him.
But I feel like it was his like main partner before going to jail based on his lyrics. So a time of decision, go do or die, why you do me so bad. So this is clearly a pivotal moment, but there's a couple lyrics I think that really give it away. It's not a lot of distinction. It's basically like this one verse, and then he repeats it with, you cheated, you lied. But it is an earworm hook. Like, the beat just instantly has me. It's got more of an upbeat kind of feel to it, but it also has like an intensity. Like, it's not just some like, I'm trying to drop the panties tonight. No, he's like mad, and you can feel it in every part of this track that he's like throwing it out. Like, unlike many of the other ones, I don't feel there's a juxtaposition in this one. It's more like, no.
It sounds like he might have just had like a conversation with her, and then like hung up and was angry at her, and he's like, fuck it. And he just was like, he wrote this song about her.
Anne-Marie, it's over. You really let me down. I thought the love we shared was sincere and profound. Fair enough. Legit. She liked it when he came around. He was really great. Had the Midas touch. Had the money. Basically hooked her up with designer. Spoiled her. Blah, blah, blah. The world was filled with trivial stuff. And he never took the time to see it was a gold rush. Showed the real you when I got locked up, and not even a postcard. And that's fair, I guess, right? If you're going to buy this chick all this shit, and you got, regardless to how you want to look at it, like, I'm of the mind that girl and guy are in a long-term committed relationship. Chances are guy made more money having her around than not having her around, and that's just the facts of the situation. If you were to, take off the money he didn't spend on acquiring new ladies, and the general facts of the life is you appear more trustworthy in business if you have a partner. Therefore you get better deals at like a psychological level. Like, I'm not making this shit up. That's why politicians pull better when they're married and shit like that. Like, this is base human psychological level. So
like,
facts.
oh, he's a stable family man or something.
Yeah, and that
I guess.
means he makes more money a lot more of the time. Like, it's some weird shit. So fine. All that meant she probably helped contribute to man's success, and I'm not taking away from his success. I'm saying that fine, everything there, maybe she helped be a part of it, blah, blah, blah. End of the day, though, all that being said, she cheated. Got all this shit from him, and they didn't even send a postcard? Like, come on. Your dude goes to jail due to, like, I guess the customary year or two to, like, before you come to the, this isn't really working out anymore and I've met somebody else. Give it a year or two before you get to that bullshit, But no, instead it seems like she cheated and she lied and she pretended it was the cousin, but it was just another guy. And then all these, it's just fine. Lyrically, it's fine. I don't have a lot more to comment, but I felt his pain. I felt his frustration. I felt the change of fucking pace on this album. It was like, thank goodness. But still, I give it a 4.5 on 5. I think it's a really strong song. And maybe it doesn't have a lot of unique words compared to some of the other ones, but what he does with this verse that he repeats, it's powerful. He didn't need to say more. This is what he had to say to Anne-Marie. And it was so powerful, he said it again, just in case she missed it the first time.
Yeah, he just, was rubbing salt on the wound. So, yeah, I mean, his girl cheated on him, and that's what it is. And, like, he spits really nicely on this one. This one's really, it's really nice. I really like his flow. I like his rhyme scheme. I like the chorus, like that, like that you cheated, like that, like you lied. I don't know. It's just cool, and it's like the beat is like nice and fun and danceable, and yet you still feel like so much like that it's so painful for him to kind of like think about her and like reflect on her and like just that she hurt him. And it's simple and it's good and it's something that can be relatable for a lot of people because a lot of people cheat, and it's pretty great. I definitely agree with you. It's like an earworm. I give it a 4.75. And maybe like also too because of like where it's placed in the album, I was like, yeah, like something a little bit more like. Because
I'm just quickly checking the track list. That's it. We did it. We got through the love songs. And the rest of the album's about stuff again. And I like songs about stuff.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. Love's a big, complicated topic. And one could even argue that in many cultures, music is like the like natural language of love, and it's intertwined, and half of music existing is for like sex and shit. Fine. I like the other stuff a lot more, the politics and philosophies, maybe something like using your song to define what it is to be a Steppa. So, unlike all the other songs on Genius here, Buju himself came through and gave us some fine translations, as in he took it from the more patois style and he translated it into English as his Genius annotations. No like added to it or whatever, just a translation, which I guess is fine. As an example, say you a bad man fine turns into say that you are a bad man, comma space, okay. It's like, come on, dude. Nobody would have said it. Anyway, and you don't step, you left your gun, no time goes to, and you don't go anywhere without your weapon. Fair enough. Say them heartless and mean when them step with them team, now a white suit and tape from forensic. You said you're heartless and mean whenever you're with your team. Fair enough. Very similar. Now the forensic is on crime scene. Like, fair enough. You Google, I don't know how you got there. That sentence was missing the word the or something. But that's okay, Buju. I'm not hating. I just really appreciated it. Mostly because he translated fine to okay. and he put an exclamation mark, and I thought that was really cute. And he did it again, right? When me say Steppa, Anna petty thief, Steppa, Anna taker. A Steppa is not a petty thief. Steppa is not a robber. And so I appreciate that. And now, like in this one track where there's the patois and shit, it is pretty clearly translated. But what do you think about this wonderful tune?
Well, for me, I was just kind of like, what the fuck is this one? I found this one like so hard for me to understand like what he was saying most of the
But he
time, and I
translated it.
know that he translated it. Yes, I understand, but like it's still like, I don't know. It was just a lot, I guess, and like, you know, and that's okay. Maybe you have to be from like, you know, the islands or from Jamaica or have, you know, family there or ties to it, or,
Alright,
or
let
just
me break
understand.
it down
I don't know.
one time.
But like, I didn't grow up in a school where like there were any Jamaicans, so
That's fine. He's effectively saying, you know, they're more like KRS-One.
yeah.
Don't be like the other guys.
Okay. All right.
I was just trying to explain it in a language you may understand.
I got it. But yeah, I don't know. It sounds cool. I mean, I just was like a little bit. Anyways, whatever. And he does this like squeaky thing
Yeah, it's so good.
on like one of the lines where he says, "But I can't do it," and it's just cute. Like it's cute. I don't know. And yeah, I mean, it's cool. I don't really have too much else to say. I mean, I was following along, not really getting half of the lyrics again. We're back there again. But yeah, I mean, I still gave it a 4.5 on 5. I liked it.
You see, Bonnie, he's talking to the youth them worldwide. Youth them being the youth of all of them.
That much I got.
Worldwide, around the world. But let me start from east and forward out to the west side, up top jungle, Alba, Zimbabwe, Angola. Hear me out loud. I don't know why he picked any of those places. I just know that he said that stuff. But it's just the energy it is like, cause he's delivering it like, say you a bad man, fine. I do don't step in your left, you got no time. I know I'm doing it bad, but just the whole energy is just fucking ridiculous in his delivery and shit. You know, say them heartless at me when they step out with them team. Now, you know, just the way he fucking delivers it. I'm gonna stop. I know how bad this really sounds, so I'm sorry. I don't mind doing it with like proper rap. I feel like this is on the line of somebody might get fucking mad at me on the internet land, so I'll stop. But he just kills it. The way he rhymes like this, the way he like enunciates the forensic or however fucking it's spelled, forensic, whatever he says. However he enunciates it there, it's fucking fire. I like it, you know. We me say Steppa, not petty thief, Steppa, not taker, me not step, feel the worst, man, I go step for the better. So, I mean, I love the fact that he's like, yo, I've been around some real fucking people. I've seen some shit. And at the end of the day, a real, you know, Steppa is not somebody that's taking. He's somebody that's building and giving. He's going into places where they've kind of had to deal with colonial powers and other such bullshits that have taken from them and fucked with their things. But nah, they're not a Shada. They're a Steppa, and they're going to survive. Because the Shadas basically get fucked up and killed. And if you think alike as Bigfoot and Fada, may we say, I asked them. I'm going to go ahead and read the translated part. A Steppa will always survival. The shooter have a slim chance of survival. Fair enough. Statistically, if you're in certain hoods in the States, though, it's a lot of the innocent bystanders who get clipped, though. Those could be Steppas. So I'm going to say that depending on your geography, there's still some scary shit statistically that is there. But I get the principle of what he's saying, so I'm not going to be Mr. Actually. He's got a point. If you think I'm lying, ask Bigfoot and his friend Fata. Who the fuck is Fata? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Can somebody tell me what a Bigfoot and Fata is on all things considered? I get the gist of what he's saying, but I'm still fucking confused by that line. I'm just going to throw it out there. Anyway, then it's fucking a banging chorus, but I like how he just follows it up with wiretap, surveillance, agents, and snitch. Step, no time to linger, man, have to move through quick. No shells left behind, you better move well legit. Solid composure, youth, your head can't stick. So all that, it's like, yo, if you consider the world we're in and, you know, you have to deal with the surveillance and the people fucking snitching and all this shit, it's like, yo, take the right path, do the right thing, it's simpler, you know, it's whatever. And then woman and pickney still off limit. And then I'm like, I know what a pickney is, because that I told the story in part 1, so you can go watch part 1. It's in the beginning. Anyway, so basically you can't fucking kill women and kids. A stepper never tells his woman his secret, so he doesn't reveal it, what he's going through. So it's like you might still do some dirt, but whatever you're doing is for the betterment of your community, it's for the betterment of shit, and then you play by the code, and you understand the ways things are, so you're not going to go tell the girl everything because, she might talk. Whether you step in private or in public, Steppa code, remember the Steppa ethics. I think that's one of my favorite lines on this project, right? It's like, however you do your shit, end of the day, live by code and be proper with it. And it just fucking repeats stuff the rest of the track, and it's real good. Oh, he also says, if you think a lie, ask Kojak and Fada. I'm like, who the fuck's Kojak? I don't know. I love this song though. I thought it was very fun to listen to. It's a great energy. The beat's just loud and just big and makes you want to fuck. Yep. Like it's one of the slower ends that I can get behind because it makes me want to fucking like bang out. Like, I don't know. I'm just feeling it. 4.5 on 5.
All right.
Anyway,
the world is changing.
Just like how we changed it up and you said it this time. And yeah. For the first time on this album, I think for me, 5 on 5. This is a truly incredible song to me. Everything from the fucking stadium grandiose chorus to the powerful message, intense driven verses to the just the style flip up. Like honestly, you're just not expecting him to be like, I say the word, and you can just picture him at the fucking edge of the stage. You can just picture, because now it's 2020, all the cell phones in the fucking air with their fucking lights and sorry, now it's 2020, all the cars honking and the headlights flashing real good. I was just saying, I saw an ad on YouTube for a car lot concert where you're in your car. I'm gonna say that looks better in some ways to my old ass than the real. For a comedy show, that looks better. For a rap show, maybe not. But right. For a comedy show, fuck a theater. Give me that car shit where I don't have to be near anyone. Yeah. Anyway, what do you think of this though?
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty powerful song. And yeah, this is the part of the album where like you were saying, he's talking about stuff. And so this one is, people are profiting off of weed, off of marijuana, and people are always going to want to have control over it, and the world is changing, and I think it's pretty interesting, I guess. If you're from a place that's so, weed friendly, I assume Jamaica is pretty weed friendly, and has been for, I think, a long time, or at least, Bob Marley was around in the 70s, 80s. And so, if you're from a place that's so weed friendly, watching the world change from demonizing it to legalizing it and making it okay and taboo must just be incredible to watch. Kind of as you watch the progression of things becoming more and more okay with it, and people are opening their eyes to see the benefits of marijuana, and but who's kind of again, he's still asking who's kind of profiting off of it, who's going to be the ones making money, just I think maybe to remind the people of Jamaica to not let people come in and just take the profits from them, and to kind of take control over what they have, I guess. I don't know, just a really cool topic, and something that's probably, again, it's super relatable to fellow like-minded Jamaicans and lots of other people, and definitely a new perspective for me to think about, something that I've never heard before. So thanks, Buju. I mean, I very much appreciate that. So I thought, pretty cool. I gave it a 4.5 on 5.
I mean, I love, like I said, the energy of it right from the beginning. A cerebral reflection, all global situation, consequence, and actions. I think it does heavily focus on the marijuana situation, at least in the start of it. But I think it's bigger. It's kind of just part of this is one huge thing. But then in the second verse, we just look at all these other things that might even be almost kind of linked to it. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know that I can effectively translate the verse, but Hadi Quest can be both migrants entering across your border while sweeping off your earth the spice to get their lives in order. I mean, to me, that looks like the migrant situation and all the fucking whatever, and just kind of looking at the politics surrounding that.
Yep.
And then immediately following it into the marijuana stuff. Everyone's trying to make money on that weed, but who's going to pay for it? You know, that was my favorite part of that, right? Just the way you questioned it, like the capitalism behind it. Like,
And like, who's like the people behind it? Who are the people that are gonna have to suffer?
I mean, I have never sold drugs, but I know a fuck ton of drug dealers in Montreal, of mostly weed, because the bigger drugs have scarier dealers. But I've learned a lot about the local weed trade and the impact legalization has had on it. And effectively, what's happened is a lot of dudes lost their jobs and they were given to. A lot of dudes who were basically in entrepreneurial positions to build equity and wealth lost their jobs and they were given to minimum wage people without the ability to build equity on that, right? So who makes that excess profit in cash? Like in the black market drug trade, yes, there's a bit of a pyramid scheme of profit sharing depending on it, but not necessarily in fucking weed where most are independent operators who buy off of one dude who buy off of the next dude, and frankly it's just how fast can you move it determines like how much you can make, or how innovative can you be with it. Are you like the first edibles guy on the block and shit like that, or how dope is your product? I mean, look, I'm talking about Montreal's drug trade. I don't give a fuck about your local place and how different it is and how I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about for some Iowa ass weed shit. You're right. I don't know fucking anything about American weed. I know I looked at prices across your country and it's ridiculous. I live in a place of cheap weed, so like, it's what it is. And we have good quality cheap weed, so whatever. I can say though that the black market, the price of marijuana, so on a lower end middle class, right? So let's say all the kids who were too afraid to go buy weed and are not doing it, they're paying out the fucking ass on some premium shit that isn't worth buying, in my opinion. But then ounces dropped in price across the board, black market and legal, and that is such a fascinating thing. So who's paying for all of this shit? Where does the actual economics of the weed trade go? If you really run it, it's to the 10 billionaires who run Quebec. So that's the answer to your question. It was very long and convoluted, just to show all the different angles of it. But I mean, what are you supposed to do? Government owns the weed game now. That's what it is. SQDC. That's it. It's like you walk in, it's like a fucking pharmacy, and it's weird, and now it's COVID-y because it's got all the glass barriers and shit. Anyway, so I thought that was so powerful. And then economy go on fail, top of their agenda. I mean, the housing market's gonna crash is what it looks like, because deferred payments are about to kick in and at least X percentage of people are unemployed. And if enough percentage of unemployed people can't make house payments in the upcoming Septembers, that's bad news bears. Buju was spitting this back in the day, back in the 2019, 2020 days before this all happened.
Well, this was released, what was it, June, end of June 2020.
So I'm assuming it was recorded,
But he was released from jail like end of 2018,
yeah, so
like
he had
almost like
absolutely enough time to record the album in 2019.
Yeah, he had a year.
I would assume that an album of this quality was done at the start of 2020, or mostly done. Anyway, then he just ends it with another line that just knocks it out the park. Food is the biggest weapon, plus you medical gangsters. Like, go look at who controls the food, which is also interesting comparison to drugs, right? Because food is just drugs, yeah. It's really drugs. Like, go look it up. Even the health, nutritional part, it's still just drugs. It's just drugs we need to live versus drugs we do for fun, versus pharmaceuticals, which are the medical gangsters, which I take it as drugs that are extortionately set up. I don't know. And then the next verse, it just keeps it coming. We paid the ultimate price. Look at what we did. The Palestinian question has not been answered yet. And I'm like, that's a fucking powerful thing to throw in. That's a good fucking point. And here's the thing. I'm a Jew, but I am not with the Israeli government and their fucking disgusting actions on how they continue to colonize the Palestinian situation regardless of promises they've made. All you have to do is look at the West Bank. They just keep seizing more territory. They just keep doing it. Say what you will. That's not cool. Mecca, your Middle East is now a total mess. Facts. Destabilizing countries tell me who's next. That's what's up. They fuck up shit. In this case, I'm assuming U.S. foreign policy, Russian foreign policy, Chinese foreign policy. From mass incarceration to random deaths, his care, they are so upset our voices shall be heard at all costs. So it's like to go from, look at all the bullshit, and then you can take that mass incarceration and tie it back to the weed ideas from the other verse, because it's so fucking clear. Even the destabilization in the middle, you can probably tie this back to the drug game in some way. Anyway, then we have suffered and we have lost. What we have gained shall remain. This nation won't be the same, no. And I think that's true for all of our nations. And I think that's what makes this song really cool. And then he does the to-di-da-bop-bop, mayo, to-di-da-bop-bop, mayo. It's fucking beautiful the way he does a little bit of scat on there. And to be fair, scat is just what half the like Designer, the rapper, when everyone was making fun of him, he was just scatting on the beat. And I don't think we should make fun of people for scatting on the beat, lest we make fun of it. Because otherwise, Louis Armstrong is just a shitty mumble rapper. And if you really think about it, there's not a lot of difference between Louis Armstrong's mumbles and a lot of other people's mumbles. And I'm not trying to insult it. I called it scat. I know what the fuck it is. I respect it. I'm saying it's technically mumbles in the context of what people get mad at, like what a Designer did. He was scatting on that beat, okay? It sounded energetic and pretty fucking dope. And I actually think we should incorporate more scat into hip-hop and stop making fun of motherfuckers. Because, yo, Buju didn't need to say words there. It just sounded fresh. And imagine those. I don't think Tootie Bop Ayo is actually a language. I just don't. I think it's just fucking flowing.
Noise.
Anyway, I gave this song a 5 on 5. Like I said, it's beautiful. All right. The next one is called 400 Years. I'm going to just go on a limb and assume that the slave trade happened about 400 years ago, a little bit longer. And this is kind of what he's talking about. And Babylon is not a good place, or it feels like... It's interesting because I was just listening to a podcast about ancient Babylon and all those places. But I picture that Babylon is like the bad city from Revelations, and like, you know, we're in hell or in the sinful place, kind of like we've been taken and we're brought to this. So we've been too long in Babylon, like we need to be, or it is like the Babylonians have come through, conquered us, and enslaved us. So now we're in Babylon and we're longing for our freedom so that we can be returned to our culture. I don't know which it is, but because I'm not that up to date on my Rastafarian culture, and perhaps I actually have the Haile Selassie 110-page book somewhere that I should probably I don't even know if I said his name right. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Or I should probably read that and learn more, because it's such a fascinating culture. Somebody said something to me that like made me want to learn more about it, when they said like the way you break logic down is similar to the Rastas I know, and I'm like, the Rastas have similar logic to me. I want to know more. I really, really, really do. But I've gotten along with everybody I know that's a Rastafari in Montreal. And there's a shit ton of them. They're all over, because it's fucking a lot of people come from the Caribbean parts of the land to here. Anyway. Basically, I'm living a couple blocks away from an old Jamaican hood. That's currently where we're at, so.
That's true. And there are guys on the street corner day and night, all the time, hanging out.
But this song, again, is kind of repetitive and chanty, and it almost feels like you're supposed to sing this when you're feeling like you're trapped in the conditions of today, you know? Over 400 years, say what? Over 400 years I cry, over 400 years in Babylon, you know? And our man never cease to fire till Babylon walls burn down. And I believe that's the part where, like, we don't give up the fire in our hearts and our passion until we've broken free from Babylon and we're free, you know? Just repeats that for a while. You know, how they weep us, they eat us, they put us all to shame down there in Babylon. Lord, they ate away to change, but we're still using their brain down here in Babylon. How we work without a gain, seem we labored in vain down there in Babylon. And then, you know, things don't change, you know. The more they say things change, still they remain the same down there in Babylon. So I do think he's talking a bit about the general Western world racism, probably a lot of America. Yeah. So in America, I mean, I'm definitely of the position that racism still exists and that there's a lot of problems with that need to get resolved. And I think he kind of taps into the cultural aspects of denial, of change. Like, yeah, it's all better now, but really it isn't. Really, the wealth distribution's garbage. The black dollar doesn't stay in black communities very long. All the fucking stats are against, all sorts of shit is stacked against the wealth acquisition of black folk. Yes, these problems exist in other communities, but not quite as generationally long as it happened to be for the blacker folk of America. And I think it's cool. I think it's kind of like a jab at that whole systemic racism. And I think it's done in a really... I don't know enough about it, but I feel like if I were to, again, stereotypically pick some Rastafari shit to, like, come at America, it might sound quite like this with my limited knowledge on the subject. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed listening to it. I feel the struggle, and I gave it a 4.35 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had, like, not, like, issues with this song, but I just felt like I wasn't the target audience for it. Like, it's just something about it. But I liked the start where there's, like, kind of, like, these, like, nice, like, ocean sounds, like, you know, and then he's, like, on a beach, and, you know, they've been in Babylon for 400 years. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I don't know. I just don't know that much, like, about that, I guess. I don't know where Babylon is or what it is. And yeah, I don't know. For me, like I was just like, what do I need to care about this? Like, I just didn't connect with it. So unfortunately it wasn't for me in that sense. But I definitely liked the nice, like, hand drum work that was, like, in there, and, like, I felt like there was, like, different drums, and, like, the beat is really nice, and it is more of, like, a spiritual song, but just something that I couldn't connect with. But I could definitely see it being, like, super fun and powerful to, like, sing along with in, like, a concert setting, if that ever happens again. Like, I can just see, like, this one being, like, you know, something that really, like, gets people together, in that sense. Like, it's almost like, you know, like a church, like a hymn or something like that. It's kind of like in that, like, feeling. So I give it a 4.2 on 5.
All right. I guess then we can continue on our little journey as we discuss Rising Up. I'm like, there's probably no way Barney's gonna really feel this tune, because it's like, the economic corruption of the world is going to fuck everything up and destroy us, and then we're not going to be able to eat. And I'm like, typically when I talk about that stuff, Bonnie is not interested. But I appreciate this tune again. And I just wanted to comment, like, we've entered, like, the last act of this album, I would say, starting with Steppa. Like, yo, we need to be better role models. Why? Because the world is changing and it's kind of fucked up. Look at these things. Look at the drug trade. Look at whatever. And then check it. 400 years later, we're still in bullshit conditions. Moving along, now it's a call for almost revolution and looking at, like, the actual bad situation and pointing out how things are starting to come to fruition around the world. And I thought that's beautiful, especially with how the next 2 tracks play out to end the album. So this last act, by far conceptually, is one of my favorite parts of this project.
Yeah, for sure.
But what do you think about this, again, political revolutionary tune?
So it starts like this. Woe, man, woe, revolution is everywhere.
It is.
They're rising up everywhere around the world, rising up, low wage and a high-priced market. Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
Capitalism.
How will we feed our little boys and girls? Have you ever seen water carry in a basket? I say, ooh.
That's a cool line.
Like, you know, because you can't. It'll slip right through. And so it's something that you can't do. So how are you supposed to, you know, if everything is just, like, falling through your fingers, how are you supposed to, like, take care of yourself and your family and, you know, the next generation? So, you know, people are rising up because, you know, they want a piece of the pie and they're fed up with being at the low end of the world's economy. So he's talking, like, big picture. He's looking around and, you know, and for your information, I have a degree in political science, so sometimes the politics stuff, I like it.
I'm I've been with this girl for 6 years, and
I
it's
just overdid it for
so
3
basically
years.
what happens is if it has to do with Native Americans, she's in. There are certain
It
subjects
depends. It
she's
depends
in.
on the topic.
You
I
say
like
the word
comparative politics.
economics.
I don't like economics.
She's fucking gone.
I don't like economics. Anyways, but yeah, so it's just interesting, and people are in like the Middle East, and they're in Central and South America, and it's just like this whole thing where all of these places that are on the lower end of like like they're the factory workers of the world, or they're where you go into these lands and you just reap the benefits of just taking all of their produce and their anything that makes any money, and so it's just that they're just places just to take from essentially, and leave behind nothing, and just bulldoze the Amazon rainforest, get rid of it and just leave the people with nothing, barren land that they can't do anything with. So it's just kind of like that sort of topic, and just
I feel like you threw that last one in
I
there.
did. I really did. I got into it. Sorry. But it's just interesting, and it's probably something that is, again, like super relatable for him and people from Jamaica and like
North America.
Yes, but like I think he's also talking about something that's relatable to him. Yes, he's also talking about the
I
world.
think the whole point of this
He's
song
seeing that.
is specifically this fucking problem is everywhere. The people are so
But there's
dissatisfied.
the haves
You
and the
see them in the
have-nots.
Middle East. You see them in the South, in the North, in the Americas. That's how he kind of like ends the last verse.
No, you see them in like I think he said something about like the
in
South Americas.
South, in the North, and the Americas.
Okay.
The point of this
So
track,
it's everywhere.
they're
right?
rising up everywhere around the world, because the problem is that there's low wages in a high price market
Agreed.
everywhere. That
Yep.
is the byproduct of an untamed capitalistic system with no oversight and government regulations, because as much as capitalism might be fun,
Yep.
American capitalism and the way that like corporations have dodged taxation for the last like century is real bad for us.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's just another interesting perspective that I wouldn't necessarily think about, and I think it's pretty great that he is talking about these types of topics in his music, and able to share that, and like he is, I'm guessing, like pretty mainstream and popular in Jamaica, and like for a lot of people, and like this is like a cool I mean, not just Jamaica, because obviously like people know about him, Jonathan Barnes knows about him, and I don't think he's in Jamaica, so
A lot of people in my Facebook know him.
yeah, so what I mean is like there are just it's pretty cool that
I
he's able
think
to get this story
It's
across
good
the
that
world.
people his fucking age are taking the time to like talk about shit like this. Yeah. It's actually why I stopped liking Eminem in a lot of ways. Is Eminem couldn't handle this topic with any sense of knowing what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah. Whereas I can tell just from what Buju's saying here, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's highlighting core systemic issues of, it's not black white shit. It isn't. It's in everybody, everything. It's why millennials and Gen Z are fucked. Okay, like this is an everybody problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anyways, I give it a 4.75. I mean, it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of facts and opinions, and it's cool. It's great.
I mean, I'd argue that the cause of confrontation shall be economic crisis, because the current situation is pretty fucking bad.
Yep.
And COVID's about to expedite that shit in a big way. In a sense where, I mean, I kind of joke about it, but I'm fucking lucky. I'm in the most have category you can have right now. I have a work from home office job that is in a protected industry, because when your company makes PDF softwares and photo editors and shit, this is like a gift. Everybody was having trouble, and then COVID saved us. That's kind of what happened. I mean, the short version of a lot of software companies right now. But it's not the fear of Islam, and it's not the threat of ISIS. And in a lot of sense, a lot of the hatred that gets propagated by the media is a distraction from economics.
Yeah.
Hunger makes the need for satisfaction become so hard to resist, and they've got no consideration as the only hardship answer, and so they're rising up everywhere, etc. And it's like, the way the world and the balancing act of the world has become, it's like all you're given is a basket and told go get water. And you may think $50,000 salaries are good. They're not. You may think $80,000 salaries can't. They're not. Like, none of this is like your fucking safe money. You might be comfortable money. You might have like some luxuries that the guy at like 20K, I mean, don't get me wrong, 20K is just like, I'd kill myself if I had to fucking live on that salary. But I can tell you that some of these higher numbers suck ass too, and anybody that thinks they're good is lying. We're all struggling. There's no upward mobility. So I don't agree that it is for just people in the third world and shit, because the cost of labor pales in comparison to price. Can be contextualized to the economic situation of grocery stores, of Starbucks, and a lot of things in our local. When you break down the price of the product against the cost of the labor to create it, against the this and the that, and then when he goes, and if they do raise the minimum wages, I mean, come on, that's not a fucking topic that's just relevant to like the third world. That's fucking straight up in Quebec a topic. It's an everywhere topic. And what he says next though is big facts. We'd also see the taxes rise. We would see some way to offset this. Now, that tax may not be government tax. It may be increased price of goods. It may be income taxes. I don't know. You're going to see it come. That's absolutely what happens. Think like spiking your minimum wage to $15. Yo, I don't want that. It fucks me. Like, I mean, it's great that a lot of people want that, but it's not going to solve anything. You're going to lower the, like, it pushes technological innovation and in a much quicker way replaces human capital, expediting the fucking problem. So it's not like real solutions. The problem is that nobody's making money in Canada per, like, 2.5% every fucking year is the average salary. Come on, that's nothing. That means that if you're making $50,000, you don't even make $1 an hour at your like annual increase. Okay, like, come on, everybody. This is so like tapping into it. So, and it's all across the world in one accord, in one voice. Everybody is so dissatisfied. Like, facts. You go look at England, they're pissed off. You go look all over Europe, they're pissed off. Everybody's pissed off over the same fucking reason. Nobody has access to like an equal opportunity to fight from economics. The boats have been on their face for too long. With every inch of ground, freedom slips like sand. No chance, no way out, no escape plan. No longer one race, one group. It's now everyone. That's I just like it. I think it's strong, and I think our freedom is slowly being jacked. I mean, yo, Canada is fucked. Like, the amount of money that got given out over COVID is in an unprecedented loan amount. I think it was like $80 billion, and it's climbing because it just got extended. I mean, when we're getting taxed 25,
we'll get there.
When we're getting taxed 25% next year or some bullshit.
There'll be like bonds or something like that they'll put out.
Whatever. I don't think it's gonna go down like that. I think they're gonna just tax the shit out of those of us that kept our job, because that's kind of what's gonna happen. And it'll all come back to it that the middle class struggles because the upper class can hide their money and become poor. If you own a house, you don't have money. So all you had to do is take your $1 million and put it in a fucking house, and it's no longer liquid cash. It's investment money. It's a very different thing under very different cash rules and all sorts of... Anyway, Economics Explained is a wonderful YouTube channel by this lovely Australian guy. You should check out his shit. But I gave this a 4.5. It's a banging revolution tune. I don't feel as strong or positive towards the next track, which is called Helping Hand. I feel like an asshole. Like, I don't like this song. This is just like, don't you know what it takes? One hand to wash the other. If you see your brother falling, then lend a helping hand. And that's the track, you know. It doesn't matter how big or small. It's never too late to share. And come on, what does it really take from your pride? A friend is a person or someone who's always near, who can feel your joy and know your pain and know all your troubles you bear. So, you know, be that person to them and they'll be that person to you, and we'll all help each other. And, you know, if I think back, there were days when I was hungry and I couldn't, like, sleep proper. And my friends and shit, they wouldn't hear my belly pain. They helped. They took care of it. And the only reason that we don't participate in this altruistic sharing more is shame and other prejudices probably taught from all the other tracks that preceded this one. And then, people shouldn't be jealous of you having wealth. So he'd rather teach you how you can build your own wealth. He says, teach someone to fish than give them one. I mean, it's just as basic as it can get. The whole track is basic. But it's, I guess, imperative. It's important. It's uplifting. It's just so corny.
Yeah.
It's just so, like, just give and be loving to your friends. And I mean, that's where I'm like, shit, what can I say about this? He's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not wrong. We all should live that way. But he sounds like Uncle Fred sitting there with the guitar smoking a blunt, being like, just lend a helping hand. And I'm like, okay, fair. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is what I want to listen to.
Well, I mean, he wanted to make it, so.
And I love the point of it. I think it really fits after Rising Up. Like, look, the economics fractured situation of the world. It's fucked up. Capitalism's evil. Let's be a little more communistic and share and help in community and this and that. And it's lovely and it thematically fits. And everything about this track I should like, but you listen to it and it's just like, oh, okay, Mom. Okay, Mom. I'll be nice next time, Mom. That's what it felt like. It's really the whole song. And it's lovely and it's nice. And yeah, I give it a 4.15. It's really like well made. I'm just literally never going to listen to this again. Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Like, I get it. I mean, be good to people.
Yep.
Do unto others as you perceive they should have they want it done. No, because seriously,
I think
I'm
right.
butchering because do unto others as you'd have them do unto you is selfish. If I were to treat people how I want to be treated, I have no friends. Because nobody really wants to be treated like I like honesty and blunt shit. Like, I want the truth, and people don't like that. So the golden rule should be do unto others as they want done unto them. So, like, you treat people with the respect that they're looking for.
Right.
So here's another way. If you want to have sex with a girl and she doesn't want to have sex with you, if you want to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, then they should do the sex thing because that's what you want and her feelings don't matter. So in a sense, it should be reformatted to being about her permissiveness and whatnot. And yes, I did just use consent rules to kind of illustrate the faulty logic of the golden rule inherently as it's worded, because it's a kind of selfish, indulgent idea that doesn't take into consideration other people's desires, because it's just assuming that everyone has the same white middle class norms. Anyway,
right.
I got lost on that. 4.15. This song is just annoying.
All right.
It's well made. I don't want to disrespect it. I'm just having trouble not.
Okay, that's fine. Easy, my brother. Let's talk about it.
I just did, and you just told me to shut up.
I took some of the lines here.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, like the whole don't you know it takes one hand to wash the other. If you should see your brother falling, lend a helping hand. The spirit of Jah may not always strive with man. If you should see your brother falling, help him if you can. So yeah, I mean, like, that's what it is, and like in the spirit of Jah, that's like Rastafarian something, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so like, but like that's how like they would say it, right? I think. And this is me like not knowing anything. But it's nice, and it's again relatable, and just he probably went through some stuff, and if you are able to help someone else, do it. If you can, if someone's struggling and you're there and you can help them, why not? So, I mean, it is a little cheesy, but, he's, like, sweet and, like, loving to, like, his friends and his brothers and whatever. And, they all have to help each other out and, help everyone do their best. And, it is, like you said, it's a lovely song. We've all been down on our luck before, and sometimes we need help in any, like, little way possible. I like how it kind of, like, finally at the end, he kind of says, I appreciate that he says, if you see your sister falling. So he finally, like, not just like the guys. So it's nice that he's helping everybody. So I like that. And yeah, we've got the saxophone again. It's nice. It's fine. I don't know. I gave it a 4.6. He has good intentions with this song, and he wants to send a positive message. And it is a reminder to be just, a nice human being and not, maybe judge people. And, maybe it's also a message that, like, is directed more, like, towards himself. Like, maybe people haven't been fair to him since he's been, like, out of jail or something, like, having, like, that criminal record, it can be pretty stigmatizing, like, for a lot of people. And people may judge him for, like, what he's done, and that, he's been to jail, and but, like, he's been to jail, he's done his time, that's it. So so I mean, that was kind of my thoughts on that. So I give it a 4.6 on 5.
All right, so we're almost at the end of our journey, and hopefully all of us can come together in unity and agree that Ellen DeGeneres should just stop making TV shows. This is like one of those songs that just makes you want to jump up and down and move around and scream, and you listen to it and, like, you can see how, like, they would play something like this at the end of that retreat where you go away for 3 days in the wilderness to find yourself, and then you come together with the whole squad of people, and you're like, what, you talking about unity? And at this point everyone's got, like, a dance that they've made together.
Yep.
And I'm not
I could totally see that.
making
That'd
fun of
be
this
awesome.
song. I'm saying that's what this song feels like. And it's the excellent ending. It is like one of the best album enders I think I've heard in a while, because it closes off this chapter together. And then kind of like you look at this album a little more reflectively. The first part is kind of about, getting out of jail and appreciating escaping that situation, which is maybe more personal. And then you can call the next while mostly related to women, the personal relationships in his life as he kind of reflects on love and friendships, because both those issues get described, although a lot more love. I get it. The panties will drop. And then we move as of, like, Steppa into this kind of, like, last arm where, again, we look at the social political situations that have created the bad dynamics. The economics are broken. We need to come together and help each other with the last song. Get over yourself. Get over both your pride and your shame, and be willing to help each other. And then we come to this last point where it's unity. The time is at hand. Look at how we've been fighting each other, carrying bags on hands. And what's super fascinating is, like, in the Montreal community of the Caribbean side of it, the Montreals and the Jamaicans and the Haitians did not like each other for a very, very long time, and recently have found unity amongst their communities and have come together in kind of almost the spirit of what this song is basically saying, because there is some beefs and stuff between certain nations that just don't like each other, and different communities that might not like each other, or different groups of people that might not like each other.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of economics and polarizing minority groups into fucking hating each other, because anyway, y'all know a lot more about these stats than I do and shit, but if you don't, we can have a chat. Anyway, I just thought it was nice to kind of, like, get to this point with this power of, like, the instrumentation. It's like almost a minute of just pure uplifting, complex. I guess if I were to put a genre, I call it worldly music. It's like that fucking label they threw on shit that sounded
World
like
music.
Yeah, like it's not.
This is not from. This is from the world.
It's not from here, as in America.
Yeah.
I like when it goes where nations and nations must acknowledge that creation, almighty people, sunburned face among all other nation, rise and take your place. I think it's really cool. Just kind of like everyone should recognize where we come from and all of that. We did not die in a diaspora. What a great use of fucking diaspora.
I like that.
Like, go Buju, man. You dropping some proper language up on this. A greater fate awaits. Yeah, come, let's get this movement together. Tomorrow may be too late. Yes, I know. Among us there are traitors and spies, but no one can stop us if we're truly unified. I know among us there are wolves among the flock, but no one can stop us, and to conquer they cannot, because what am I calling for? Unity. For every black man, unity. Hear what I bought? Unity. It's dope. It's really well done. It really just has that chanting. Like, I can picture the party, and I mean, I can picture some dudes I know, because, Montreal's also got a lot of Africans up in here. Like, I don't mean, like, African American. I mean, like, straight from fucking Africa. Like, Ghana, different places like that.
Well, a lot of the French speaking countries, a lot of those, a lot of people from those countries come here because
I once
we speak
met
French.
a lady from Rwanda off the internet.
Ooh.
It was a good time. But I'm just saying, we are. Well, here's the thing about Quebec. In the modern era, it looks like we don't like tourists, but if you go like look up Quebec tourism ads around the world with a VPN, you're gonna see we heavily solicit from certain countries, especially French-speaking ones. But we've become well known
Haiti.
as a place that has a decent immigration. It's like all you have to do is learn to speak French. That sounds hard for us in North America. But yo, apparently around the world, y'all average like 3 languages. So you're like, fuck it. What's one more language?
Yeah.
Anyway, I give it a 4.5. It's a beautiful track.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is like a sick beat. The instruments and like the chants are also like pretty sick. It's really fun. He's got a pretty unique style in terms of like the sounds he likes. At least as far as I'm concerned, it just kind of like it's pretty cool. It's just unity chanted over and over again, and it just kind of sounds awesome, and it just becomes like you're entrenched in it exactly like perfectly fitting for like what you were describing is like the hippie commune, like everybody just dancing around in like a tribal sort of like sense, like but like a community togetherness, but like still like grassroots and tribal and like I don't know, authentic. It feels authentic. And we have to come together and like go forward together and no longer have hate for each other and for others. And like that time is past. We don't have time for that anymore. Like we need to like get over ourselves and come together and like make this a movement and like just be like a united front. And like we can be that united front and not be broken down, because if they're if it is like kind of like scattered or broken up, then people can like get in or whatever, or break things down. And I don't know, I like it. It's a really powerful message. And he kind of says at the end, like, you might think I'm just like a crazy black man, but he's not. Like, he's has this grand idea of like what he wants and like a peaceful unity, of like all. He basically wants all black people to come together and just unite and like just love each other and help each other up and fight the world and take on everybody else, and why not. So I mean it's very timely in the fact that it came out with with this strong like Black Lives Matter movement happening still, and it's a really great track, and it is an absolutely great closer and perfect ending for like the whole album, and it's a good reminder to just be unified. So I give it a 5 on 5.
Fair enough. So I guess for this album, I give the whole album a 4.46 on 5. I think a lot of it is really enjoyable. A lot of it is forgettable. And that's kind of the downside, I guess, in a lot of cases with 20-track albums. There's not like many 20 tracks, 0 skates, just 20 fucking songs in a row albums, though, that can hold your attention and end on such a high note. So this shit's a modern classic for sure.
Yeah.
I would say it's totally worthy of a review. And it's cool because it introduced me to this Buju Banton character and gave me this whole new gateway to go look down. And you all may leave comments saying check out this or that, and one day I shall. In the meantime, I don't know. He has a lot of fucking albums out. So I listen to a couple here or there, and just to, not like tracks, just to feel the older energies and stuff. But I love his intelligence and his wisdom. I think that's one of my favorite parts of him, because I like it when the artist says useful shit. That's just my preference, useful shit. And nothing in those guys' rhymes was useless. Everything he said had a practice. Sometimes it was like with the fucking articulation of an 8-year-old, but it was always practical, and I really admire that. I love his musical versatility and how all 20 songs came off fresh and distinct, and Buju sounded amazing on all of them. Even if I didn't like his love songs, they're still good. They're better than anything I've heard on the radio that just sounds like all the other shit. Like, it's not this flat EDM repetitive word bullshit. It's nice. It has some soul in it. I don't know. Great album.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I gave this a 4.37 on 5, so it's 87%. It's pretty good. I mean, I agree. I mean, he is clearly a talented fellow, and like the fact that he's able to like make these 20 songs and still, guide your interest and kind of keep your attention and have like interesting things to talk about and fun music and like if you catch some or any of like what he's saying, like it's often like pretty interesting, but maybe not in like you said, like the most. Sometimes he doesn't always say it eloquently. He just says it like you said with an 8-year-old kid or something. So but sometimes that's the easiest because that's the clearest way to get the message across. So I don't know, it's pretty cool. I'm glad that I checked out this album.
Yeah, same. So thank y'all for watching. Let us know in the comments what you felt about the review, what you felt about Upside Down 2020. Does this live up to your expectations? Are you excited about it, or is it like sad?
Were you waiting for him to like release another album?
All that good stuff. If you do make the effort to comment, we'll definitely answer. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you feel it. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, and Linda Williams. They're dope to support what we do. Mr. Jonathan Barnes used his powers to get this episode, so that's real cool of him. If you want to support us, you can check that out as well. And I make music myself. You can check that out on this channel. Your support would be super duperly greatly appreciated. Love to hear what you think about it. On that note, live long and prosper, everybody.
Peace, guys.